Nationers, as we grow up, there are a lot of things that we believe are true. But as we get older, we realize that those things are just misconceptions. Just like cracking your knuckles causes arthritis, or like when your parents tell you that when the ice cream man has its music playing means it's out of ice cream. And regardless of if it's a simple prank by your parents or something that you actually believe was true but happened to be a misconception, the Paint Explainer is going to tell us every common misconception debunked in 9 minutes. Let me know down in the comment section below what something you thought was true that actually is false. And let's get right into it.
The pyramids of Giza were not built by slaves. Archaeological evidence shows they were constructed by a
Laborers.
workforce of laborers who were paid and well-fed.
Very nice.
Bananas do not grow on trees.
They do
grow
not.
on plants that are giant herbs. The historical Buddha is not known to have been fat. Marie Curie
think
did
it's
not
kind of
die
nice
from
if he has
radiation
that
exposure
girth.
during her research. She passed away from aplastic anemia, likely caused by prolonged exposure to radiation, but not immediately during her work.
Okay,
the
that's
Colosseum
fair.
was not primarily a site for gladiator battles.
That's fair.
It hosted a variety of events, including animal hunts, executions, and mock-sea battles.
I've heard the mock-sea battle one. That one seems pretty interesting because how in the world do you get a ship in there?
Alongside gladiator contests. Santa Claus was not created by Coca-Cola as an advertising gimmick. He had already formed in American popular culture. The Bible does not say that exactly 3 magi came to visit the baby Jesus, nor that they were kings or rode on camels. It only says that there was more than one magus.
Okay, I guess
Neither
3
the
maybe
mafia
works.
nor other criminal organizations regularly use or have used cement shoes to drown their victims. Cinco de Mayo is not Mexico's Independence Day.
I can't tell if they mispronounced mayo as mayo, just for the comments, but I'm going to pause the video. Because September 16th is Mexico's Independence Day. Cinco de Mayo is a celebration actually more commonly in here in America, not even down there.
It commemorates the Mexican victory over the French at the Battle of Puebla in 1862, not their
There were so many
independence from
battles
Spain.
in 1800s,
Albert
man. It's
Einstein
crazy.
did not propose the theory of relativity out of nowhere. His work built upon and synthesized ideas from previous physicists, including Maxwell and Lorentz. The Wild West was not as lawless and violent as depicted in movies.
I wish it was,
Historical
man.
records suggest
I wish
that
it
most
was.
frontier towns had low homicide rates and communities that emphasized order. The
good.
RMS Titanic was not advertised as unsinkable. This myth emerged after the disaster. The ship was described as being practically unsinkable, highlighting its
You still use the word though. We're not going to get into nuance. It's practically unsinkable. Sure, we might have took off the practically because it actually sunk.
safety features. The signing of the Declaration of Independence didn't occur on July 4th, 1776.
It was the first, right?
Most delegates signed the document on August 2nd, 1776.
Oh, that's right.
With
That's
some
right.
signatures
That's
added
actually
even
right.
later. Bumblebee's ability to fly does not defy the laws of physics. Early misunderstandings led to the myth. Modern aerodynamics explain their flight based on wing motion and air vortices. The Salem witch trials were not focused on burning witches.
They were not.
Convicted individuals were hanged or pressed to death. Burning at the stake was more common in Europe.
Pressed?
Vomitoriums were not places for Romans to vomit during feasts. They were actually the entrances and exits to stadiums, allowing crowds to vomit out rapidly. The Spanish flu did not originate in Spain. Spain was neutral during World War II and reported on the flu without wartime censorship, leading to the misnomer. Vincent van Gogh did not cut off his ear to give to a lover. He severed part of his ear in a fit of mental anguish and gave it to a woman in a brothel, not to a romantic partner. The idea of witches flying on brooms originated from folklore and was not a widespread belief among those accused of witchcraft. It's a symbolic image that has evolved over time, not a claim.
I'm just going to say now, I know a lot of things are going to kind of have different iterations over the years. I think witches and brooms I think that's a really cool thing. I think it just makes it a lot cooler. That's just me. I don't care if in like 1572, if that wasn't the thing. You should have documented it, okay?
Claim made by those accused during witch trials. Vikings
That's
wore
a cool one,
simple,
though.
functional helmets without horns, contrary to popular depictions in media and art. They
Horns
also
make 'em
weren't
look cooler.
huge. The average height of a Viking
Just
man was
saying.
around 5'7" inches or 170 centimeters, which
Girthy
was similar to
dude.
the average height of men in other parts of Europe at the time. Napoleon was around 5'7" inches,
Yeah, he
and
was
he
not
was
short.
not as short as often
Metric
believed. Considering
to
the average height in the
conversion, yeah.
1800s, which was 5'6" or 167 centimeters, he was actually taller than average. Thomas Edison
how you
improved the
get
light
that
bulb with a
average over
durable
that
filament, building
period of
on
time.
previous Nikola Tesla's work. Humans actively use far more than 10% of their brains for
Yeah,
various
this
complex functions
one-
and processes.
I hate that
The Great
one.
Wall of China is not visible from space without aid, debunking a common myth. Einstein excelled in mathematics, disproving the myth he failed math in his school years. The Bible doesn't specify an apple as the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden story. Microwave cooking can preserve nutrients better than some conventional methods, not destroy them.
Okay,
Lemmings
that's
don't
good to
commit
know.
mass suicide. This myth was popularized by flawed nature documentaries. Humans and chimpanzees share a common ancestor. We did not evolve directly from them. The blood is thicker than water phrase originally emphasized bonds formed by shared experiences, and it's not true. Rosa Parks was not sitting in the front, white section of the bus during the event that made her famous and incited the Montgomery bus boycott. Rather, she was sitting in the front of the back, colored section of the bus, where African Americans were expected to sit, and rejected an order from the driver to vacate her seat in favor of a white passenger when the white section of the bus had become full.
That's
the Great Chicago Fire's cause remains unknown.
History
the cow
lesson.
Story is a popular myth. Penguins don't mate for life. They are monogamous, but may change partners seasonally. Chameleons change color based on mood, temperature, and light, not just to blend with their surroundings. Ancient
chameleons
Greek and
are
Roman
bipolar
sculptures
AF.
were originally painted with colors. They appear white today only because the original pigments have deteriorated.
That's
Earth
fair.
is not
That's
the
cool,
only
though.
planet with water. Mars and Jupiter's moon, Europa, have water too. It does not take 7 years to digest chewing gum. It passes through your system
This is
without
when your
being
parents
digested.
would tell you.
Goldfish
Don't swallow
have memories longer than 3 seconds, capable of distinguishing between different songs. Ostriches do not bury their heads in the sand when scared. They lie flat and blend in with the ground. Opossums cannot hang by their tails while sleeping. They use their tails for grasping, not for prolonged support. Sugar does not make children hyperactive. Studies have debunked the sugar high theory. Lightning can strike the same place twice, contrary to the saying. The Earth is not a perfect sphere. It's an oblate spheroid, flattened at the poles. Genes do not determine race. Humans share 99.9% of their genes with each other, and genetic diversity is vast within groups.
That's crazy. The 8 billion is the difference of that 0.1 there.
Educated people knew it was round. Dogs do not sweat through their tongues. They pant to cool down, but sweat through paw pads.
Yes, okay, I knew the pause. I knew the pause
thing. Is not safe. Bacteria can transfer to food immediately upon contact with the floor.
I guess it depends on if it's wet or not.
Polar deserts can be brutally cold. Fortune cookies did not originate in China. They are an American invention associated with Chinese restaurants.
Of course they are.
If you touch a baby bird, its mother will not reject it due to human scent. Most birds have a limited sense of smell.
Imagine that.
Alcohol lowers body temperature despite the warming sensation it can give. Swimming right after eating isn't dangerous. The biggest risk might be a minor
cramp.
You don't have to wait 24 hours to report a missing person. There's no waiting period required to report a missing person to the police.
I heard that this thing came from a movie, by the way. This was like a whole movie thing that happened. And I think in the movies, they did that. Because it would make more suspense. Like, oh, are they actually missing? Yeah, no, you have to wait 24 hours. This was like a thing that happened in the movies that became like common knowledge at that point, which is not true, okay? We're here to debunk
salt to
it.
Water makes only a negligible difference in boiling time. Going out with wet hair in cold weather doesn't cause colds.
Oh, okay.
Only viruses do.
That's not why I thought you did that.
A coin dropped from a great height, like the Empire State Building, can't kill someone.
It
might sting, but isn't lethal. Cracking your knuckles doesn't cause arthritis, though it may weaken grip strength over time. Bats aren't blind. They can see 3 times better than humans. Humans have more than 5 senses, possibly up to 14 to 20, including balance and temperature. Shaving doesn't make hair grow back thicker. The new hair feels coarse because it has a blunt tip. Mount Everest is not the tallest mountain.
It is not, but it's the highest point.
Measured from base to summit, Hawaii's Mauna Kea is taller than Everest, with over half of it submerged underwater. Coffee doesn't actually dehydrate
That's really cool.
Moderate coffee consumption contributes to your daily fluid intake without significant dehydration.
That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever felt dehydrated from
raw fish in Japanese. It actually refers to vinegared rice, often accompanied by various ingredients, including raw fish. The Sahara Desert isn't the world's largest desert. Antarctica is considered the largest desert, defined by low precipitation levels, not by temperature. The Canary Islands are not named after birds.
Interesting.
Their name derives from the Latin Canariae insulae, referring to the island's large dogs. The term third world doesn't imply poverty or underdevelopment. Originally, it categorized countries not aligned with NATO or the Communist bloc during the Cold War.
Oh, that's interesting.
The dark side of the moon is a misnomer. All sides of the moon receive sunlight. The far side is just never visible from Earth.
Yeah.
The Library of Alexandria's destruction wasn't a single catastrophic event. Its decline was gradual, involving several
That's
incidents
cool.
over centuries, not just one fire. The Spanish Inquisition was not as deadly as commonly believed.
Okay.
Historical records suggest far fewer executions than the tens of thousands often cited.
Oh,
Diamonds are not formed from coal. Most diamonds are formed in the Earth's mantle, well below the depths where coal is found. The term rule of thumb does not originate from a law about wife beating. It likely refers to using one's thumb as a rough measurement tool, not any legal statute.
Oh,
Gladiators didn't always fight to the death. Many matches were highly regulated, with the possibility of surrender and survival for the combatants. Walt Disney did not invent Mickey Mouse alone. Ubby Iwerks, a Disney animator, played a significant role in the creation and design of Mickey Mouse. Shout out to these guys who are the first patrons that support my channel. You can end up on this list as well. Check out the link in the description.
That poor animator way back in the day that never got his name shouted out. I'd never heard of him. I'm sure you guys haven't either. Is there a misconception in here that you guys maybe thought was true and maybe really isn't? Oh, I can't factually prove any of these, but I would like to think that a lot of them are more for the excitement of the story. It's cooler if witches and people that were doing witchcraft were actually on brooms. I think that that's really cool. So if you see a broom in the corner, then you know what I'm up to. Nonetheless, thank you guys again so much for watching. Subscribe!